Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Benny. Joe Biden visited Ukraine today, or did he? Was this all staged? Was it fake? And more importantly, did Joe Biden have to ask permission from Vladimir Putin to visit Ukraine? What's going on? Let's start with the New York Times here, the number one purveyor of fake news in America. For the fake news, Joe Biden visits Kyiv while air raid sirens sound. Oh! Joe Biden, he's so brave. He can't walk up a flight of stairs. He can't ride a bike, but he can take a 10-hour train ride from Poland to Ukraine. He can't drive the 200 miles from Washington, D.C. to East Palestine, Ohio, a war zone in his own country that he created, but he can take a 10-hour train along with a 12-hour flight. President Biden made a surprise trip to the embattled capital of Ukraine on Monday, traveling under the cloak of secrecy. That's right. Nobody in the press actually knew anything that was going on here. Zelensky and Biden stepped out onto the streets of Kyiv, even as air raid sirens sounded, a dramatic moment captured on video. Oh, it was captured on video for the world to watch. Look, so secret that CNN is there just in time with a perfect angle to capture the air raid siren Biden walk. Oh, it's so dramatic, and it's made so incredibly more dramatic with the fact that Joe Biden just sits there and walks like a robot. So what was this air raid siren? The New York Times continues to gobble and to flagellate over this air raid siren, bristling the tension of the moment. Wow. What was this exactly? Well, over here on Reuters, again, another corporate media entity, they posted the video of Joe Biden with the air raid siren with a follow-up here saying air raid sirens blared across Ukrainian capital, although there were no reports of Russian missiles or airstrikes. So what you're telling me is that this guy, who is a professional actor, and this guy, who is a professional dumbass, who needs literally a mark to hit. Like he's in the theater. Like he needs a mark to hit to stand on. Look at this. And even Zelensky is sitting there looking at his mark. You're telling me that these people staged for dramatic effect an air raid, a fake air raid. I mean, Zelensky is literally an actor. Going to far-right conspiracy theory website, Wikipedia. Occupation, actor. There you go, right there. It's like, he's an actor. This is what he did. His entertainment career. Look at this. It's what he did. He's an actor. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is causing a lot of people to be quite embarrassed. I suppose, supposed leader of the free world, the entire world will see this, and it's embarrassing AF. Joe Biden has to have a big red dot painted on the ground as to where he's supposed to stand. Again, even Zelensky is sitting there going, my God, please let him hit his mark. So Joe Biden went there. They sounded the fake air raid sirens as he wanders around through this little courtyard in Ukraine, not in East Palestine, Ohio, in Ukraine. Now, how do we know these air raid sirens are also definitely fake? Well, because the White House notified Moscow before Biden's trip for deconfliction purposes. What does that mean? White House notified Moscow before Biden's trip. During President Biden's surprise trip on Monday to the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv, where he was seen in a warm embrace of Zelensky, it's been revealed that there were minimal levels of communication happening between Washington and Moscow in a year into the Russian invasion. It demonstrates that everyone is still rational enough mind to want everything possible to avoid triggering World War III. The White House, hours into the trip, confirmed U.S. and Russian officials had communicated just ahead of Biden's trip in the form of advanced warning that Biden would enter Ukraine. This was in order to avoid possible huge escalation of tensions given the danger and high security environment. At one point, air raid sirens sounded in Kyiv while Biden was meeting with Zelensky, although it's possible that was staged for dramatic effect. Yeah. And of course, the New York Times, like that's the entire New York Times is writing about the air raid sirens and how brave Joe Biden is. He can't make it up a flight of stairs, and he doesn't know where he is when he's even walking around the White House. But boy, he's so brave to walk through the air raid sirens. This man, whose kid was kicked out of the Navy for crack. We did notify the Russians that President Biden would be traveling to Kyiv. We did so some hours before the departure for deconfliction purposes, the White House said. Sullivan didn't disclose what the immediate Moscow response was to the notification. Sullivan stressed that it was for security purposes. So that's leading, of course, to memes like this. Can I go to Ukraine, Vlad? Just make sure you're back home in time for dinner. Memes like this. It's a permission slip from Vladimir Putin for Joe Biden to visit Ukraine. As Peter Doocy said on Fox, no one from the press was given any notice of this at all. In fact, they were lied to in an elaborate ruse by the White House. Watch.
All right, here we go. Almost a year to the day when it began. Guess what? We begin with this. President Biden making a surprise visit to Kyiv this morning, meeting with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky right now.
Biden and Zelensky both giving remarks just ahead of the one-year anniversary of the deadly Russian invasion.
Peter Doocy joins us live from Warsaw, Poland with the latest. And Peter, good afternoon. I know it's 1 o'clock there in Kyiv and in Poland as well. This was a big surprise, right?
A huge surprise. President Biden wasn't scheduled to fly out of Washington, D.C. until the 6 p.m. hour tonight. Instead, they very quietly gathered a press pool, and they left yesterday at about 4:15. The president appeared in Kiev, not on his original itinerary. We were told he was just coming to Poland to commemorate the one-year anniversary of the Russian invasion. Instead, he drops into an active war zone. The New York Times is reporting right now that he took an hours-long train ride from Poland into the Ukrainian capital that is besieged by the Russians right now. And while there, he announced an extra $500 million in new U.S. security assistance.
Okay, yeah, he also had to ask Vladimir Putin's permission to go to Ukraine. God. It's like these memes. Oh, man, so utterly humiliating. Other pundits on Fox asking, why exactly is Joe Biden going to a war zone where there are no American troops staged? That's odd. Joe Biden never went to Afghanistan, where he ordered American troops to their deaths, but he'll somehow go to Ukraine? Strange.
The administration has a real problem. And this visit is very interesting. I don't know that I've ever seen a president visit, in our lifetime, visit a war zone in which America did not have troops invested. Right. So obviously, whether, this is a very important part of his administration, a part of the history of his presidency. Whether or not and how this gets played out over the next 2 years as we get closer to the 2024 election, I think it's going to be very interesting. And I think that he's going to have a hard time getting regular voters to go along with it.
It's a new global order, right? Russia.
This is what's leading to memes like this being created. The Ukrainian presidents, Joe Biden clearly ignoring the plight of Americans. Memes like this going viral. East Palestine, Ohio, getting nuked by Joe Biden and his administration or their incompetence. We did a little bit of research this morning. Turns out that East Palestine is just a really short, probably 30-minute flight from Washington, D.C. Wouldn't be long to get there. Meanwhile, going to Ukraine, again, is a multi-day endeavor. 5,000 miles and a 12-hour flight, along with a 10-hour train ride, according to the New York Times. To see who? Well, to see the big guy. That's right. Occupation, politician, actor, comedian. Not necessarily in that order. So, yeah, I mean, were there fake parts of Joe Biden's contrived visit? Here you go. You can see it in the photo right here from Reuters. You can see Joe Biden hitting his marks, literally hitting his marks like an actor on the stage. The sirens, the New York Times, of course, doing their duty to slobber and to fillet the administration. All they talked about were the air raid sirens. That's all they talked about. Air raid siren. Look at this air raid siren. Let's Let's search for air raid. How many times? Oh, multiple times. Here we go. Air raid, air raid, air raid, air raid. Oh, wow. How many? Air raid, air raid, air raid sirens wailed. Oh, they were wailing. We are wailing because we're so embarrassed by this administration, this regime, and people that literally don't know where to, can't, in the middle of this crowd, don't even know where to stand. Have to spray paint a giant circle on the ground. How embarrassing. Oh, man. Boy, we are embarrassed for this administration. We are embarrassed for our country because we love our country a lot. And we want it to be great again. But unfortunately, it is not great right now. So we must fight to make it great once more. That is why we fight right alongside with you. My name is Benny Johnson. See ya. Thank you for watching. Our channel is here to meme the libs until they cry and then to meme them crying. They're tears. They taste just like sweet, delicious ice cream. Salty, too. We ridicule the establishment and the libs because of you. Your support keeps us going. So if you like what you saw, please punch the subscribe button, click like, and ring the little bell so that you know when we're live. Don't you want to know when we're live? And make sure that you subscribe to our email list just in case the plug gets pulled, as tends to happen. If you want to see more of our videos, click here or here. My name is Benny Johnson. Stay free, base patriots.